Crysis power up to the essential picks and games under £15 PSN sales. There's quite a lot of games in these sales, so it took a while to go through them. But as normal, I found some really cool games for you to play, and you can save a lot of money as well. So if you like the idea of finding cool new games to play, and saving yourself a lot of money, then don't forget to subscribe. You're welcome here anytime. Now this sale ends on the 17th of July, so that'll be your last day to pick up these deals. Let's look at the games. First up, we have Battlefield 5 Definitive Edition. It was released in 2018, so it's 6 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £4.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, as this edition includes all the content, included all Year 1 and Year 2 content, and all of the elites as well. Just keep in mind the multiplayer is probably dead right now, so some of the content won't be worth as much as some of the other content. In this first-person shooter, which is set in World War II, you get to experience various war stories of the Norwegian resistance, a Senegalese tirailleur, a convicted bank robber conscripted to the Special Boat Service, and a German Tiger tank crew as well. So you get to see from a variety of perspectives, and also experience some niche roles within the war, which is really cool and unique. I mean, some people would say they're running out of ideas, so they took a punt on some random stuff, but hey, it's different, and it's nice to see some single player content that's not the same run-of-the-mill stuff we get every year for a change. And it also features 64 player online multiplayer, and the new Firestorm online mode as well, although as I said before, it's probably dead at this point, so don't bet on the multiplayer too much. Now, Battlefield hasn't been doing that well recently. COD's been outdoing it in sales and popularity, but hey, in my opinion, neither of them are what they used to be. The single player campaigns used to be a lot of fun, and I used to enjoy picking them up on sale just to play the single player campaigns, but things have changed these days. They're more multiplayer focused, and that means if you're not buying the newest one, then you don't really get much out of the games. But this one did try something different, and some people really liked it, and some people really didn't. So, it's different, and if you like the sound of that, you might want to check it out. But if not, don't worry, there's so many FPS around, you've got plenty of options. But if you like World War II stuff and you want to see some more niche stories, you'll probably enjoy this game, especially at this price. So if you like the sound of that, why not check it out? You might have a lot of fun with it. And hey, if you've never played an FPS before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. The multiplayer is probably dead, and the single player is definitely not the best around. So, you're much better off starting with one of the more legendary ones that are older, or one of the other modern ones that has better story, and better single player campaign, or even an active multiplayer. Either way, you've got a lot of options, and this probably isn't the best for you, so why not take a look around instead? Or check out the next video, and then you won't miss the next FPS that go on sale. We have a trilogy next, Crysis Remastered Trilogy. It was released in 2021, so it's 3 years old, although the original games are much older than that really, and it's on at least a 75% discount for the price of £9.99 or £7.99 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, as this trilogy includes all 3 Crysis games, remastered with the PS4 Pro enhancements available on PS4 Pro and PS5 as well. So you do get some extra graphical enhancements on 5 and PS4 Pro, which is really great. These are all futuristic first-person shooters, where you get to play as a futuristic soldier, wielding a high-tech nanosuit that enhances your speed, strength, and armor, with a built-in cloaking system as well. You know, just in case you want to go Predator on some people. As you fight in a war against an alien invasion of Earth, desperately trying to locate the alien Alpha to end the war forever and save mankind. Now, Crysis, especially the first game, was a huge game when it came out. It was so graphically intensive that there was a load of memes, and for years it was, can it run Crysis, every time a new PC came out. If it couldn't run Crysis, it was a joke and nobody wanted to buy it. Well, that's what they like to think anyway. Not everybody wants to play Crysis. Either way, the game included a load of cool new features that you hadn't seen in first-person shooters before. The way the systems worked and the nanosuit worked, the gameplay was really cool and different, and people really loved it. Pretty much the only negative people had was that a lot of people didn't like the aliens. At the beginning they're not around and it's just man-on-man combat, and then they turn up in the first game and stay for the rest of the series. Now that's not such a big deal at this point because the first game is still a legendary game, and the other 2 were well received, even with the aliens, as they changed scenery and environments and that sort of thing. All in all, they're a really good trilogy of high-tech action first-person shooters, so if you like your first-person shooters with a load of extra tech and cool new gadgets, then you should take a look at this. They may be a bit of a lost franchise now, but they're pretty good, and I think you can have a lot of fun in this. So if you like the sound of that, definitely check it out. It might just be your new favourite series. And hey, if you've never played an FPS before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here, because the first one is a bit divisive, and also it's 3 games, so if you don't like it, you're stuck with a lot of games that you're never gonna play. But don't worry, there's loads of first-person shooters around, and you've got plenty more to choose from, so don't forget to come back for more sales, and then you won't miss them when they're on sale next. We have a zombie game next, Dying Light Definitive Edition. It was released in 2017, so it's 7 years old, and it's on at least a 70% discount for the price of £7.49 or £4.99 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, as it includes all of the content of 4 DLCs and 22 bundles, plus improved visuals and a better view distance for PS5 as well, which is really cool. I wish more developers would include extra enhancements for PS5. In this first-person open-world survival game, you get to roam a city devastated by a mysterious epidemic, and running and climbing through the city, scavenging supplies, crafting weapons, and fighting hordes of flesh-hungry zombies. Just don't forget to fear the night, as the zombies' strength grows and nocturnal threats emerge, making it very dangerous to stay out at night. Now, this game was pretty well received when it came out. It may not be one of the biggest franchises around, and zombies are kinda done to death at this point. They were in games all the time and way too much. But hey, this is still a really great game, but if you're bored of zombies, you might want to look at something else instead. But in general, this is a really good game. It's got really good open world survival elements, and the city is really great, especially the traversal system where you can climb and run and jump. It's really great, and the unique zombies that come out at night really make the night fearful, which adds a lot to the game. All in all, if you like open world survival games, and especially first person ones, you don't have a huge amount of options outside of Far Cry, and this is a really good one. So if you're not bored of zombies, you'll probably really enjoy this. So why not check it out if you like the sound of that? And hey, if you've never played a first-person open-world survival game before, then you could start here. This is a really good game with a load of content included, and apart from Far Cry, there's not that much competition in this specific genre. But hey, there are other options, so if you're not that keen on it, don't worry. I'll let you know when there's more games like this on sale in future sales. Welcome to the Thunderdome, Mad Max. It was released in 2015, so it's 9 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the low price of £3.99, which is a really great deal. In this third-person open-world action game, which is based on the cult classic movies, you get to play as Mad Max in an apocalyptic wasteland where cars are the key to survival, fighting to survive and scavenge for supplies, to build and customize your ultimate car for the unique car-based combat system within this game. Now, if for some reason you've lived under a rock all your life and you don't know what Mad Max is, it's one of the most famous apocalyptic film franchises ever made, and it made Mel Gibson a star. And you probably know who he is, so at least you've got that going for you if you don't know what Mad Max is. Either way, the films are legendary, and they're really great. The modern ones aren't really Mad Max movies, and they really shouldn't have his name in the title. But hey, at least they gave us this game, because without them coming back, we wouldn't have a modern Mad Max game, and that would be a crying shame, because this game's amazing. Basically, if you like apocalyptic games, or cars, or both, then you'll really enjoy this game. It's a huge open world game with some really cool car combat, a unique art style, so if you like any of what I've said, definitely check this out. Mad Max is a great film franchise, and this game is actually worthy of it, which is crazy because how often do you get to say that about movie-based games? This is a diamond in the rough, and if you like the sound of any of it, definitely take a look. It might be your new favourite game you've played in ages. And hey, if you've never played a third-person open-world action game before, then this is a great place to start. It's got a really cool combat system, it's got a good franchise license, and it's just a really good game in general. The reviews are amazing. If you've always been interested in an open-world apocalyptic game, or you just like car combat, you should definitely check this out. At this price, you can't go far wrong. Why not take a look? We have an anime game next, Sakura Wars. It was released in 2020, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the price of £7.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, as games from Japan are usually pretty expensive, and this one seems pretty good value. Now there is a deluxe edition, but it only includes some character skins, so if you're not interested in that, this is the better deal for you, and the deluxe version isn't on sale right now, so if you want them you'll have to wait for that. In this weird action RPG dating sim visual novel, yep, that's definitely not a genre. The Flower Division of Tokyo's defense against demons is at risk of being disbanded, and you get to play as their new captain, who must help them live up to their past legacy and help defend Tokyo against the attacking demons, while also restoring their long-lost reputation and saving them from disbandment. Now, this is a very anime game, and it's very weird with its combination of gameplay, which makes it very unique and interesting if you're into this sort of genre, because it's an action RPG, which is pretty cool and more common, but it also has a dating sim system and visual novel elements to it as well. So there's a lot of story, a lot of talking, a lot of dating, a lot of girls to choose from, plus you get the action scenes with the RPG elements as well. So there's an absolute huge amount of content in this game, which isn't unusual for Japanese games. They are very off the wall, but they're usually really good value for money. Either way, this is a very unique and different game, and at this point you probably know if you'll love or hate this game. So if you like the sound of it, why not take a look? But if not, don't worry, there's plenty more games for you to choose from instead. And hey, if you never played an action RPG, dating sim, visual novel combination genre before, then you're not the only one, and it's a very unique genre. In general, if you're into anime games and Japanese games, you'll probably really enjoy this. But if not, it's probably too weird for you, and it'll be really complicated with all of the different gameplay elements. So if you don't like the sound of that, then pick up a different game instead. We have a unique game next, Scars Above. It was released in 2023, so it's only a year old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £6.24, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal. In this third-person action-adventure game, after a colossal alien structure appears in Earth orbit, you are chosen to join the investigation team, but after the structure transports you across space to a mysterious planet, you wake up alone and must find your crew and try to survive long enough to work out what's going on and make it home alive. Now, this game got rave reviews when it came out, from the 5 people that reviewed it, because it's a pretty niche indie game, but hey, it got really good reviews, and I've seen some gameplay footage, and it looks really good. My gut feeling says this is a diamond in the rough, and it even has an elemental-based weapon combat system, where you get to craft items, scan and research different aliens, and varied alien biomes, with tactical boss battles, and a mysterious sci-fi story along with it. So there is more to this game than meets the eye. The combat's pretty cool and weapon-based, with some nice gameplay mechanics added in as well. So if you like the sound of this as much as I do, I mean the story seems intriguing, and people who play this game seem to really like it, so I think it's a win-win really. If you're interested at all, or you like this sort of gameplay, then why not check it out? I think you'll have a ton of fun with it, especially at this price. And hey, if you've never played a third-person action-adventure game before, then I would recommend starting here. It may not be from one of the big AAA franchises, but it's a really good indie gem, and it's at a pretty good price. You can get other AAA legendary games for about the same price if you want though, so you do have options if you're not interested in this one specifically. In which case, don't worry, I'll let you know when there's more games like this on sale in future offers. We have some old school games next. Sega Mega Drive Classics. It was released in 2018, so it's 6 years old, but the games are much older than that really, like 30 years older, and they're on an 80% discount for the price of £4.99, which is a really good price, as this classic collection includes 53 of the best Mega Drive games, including Sonic 1, 2, 3D Blast, Streets of Rage 1, 2, 3, Shinobi 3, Ristar, that's amazing, Story of Thor, that's amazing too, Fantasy Star 2, 3, 4, Golden Axe 1, 2, 3, Kid Chameleon, that's cool, Columns 1 and 2, Alex Kidd, that's awesome, Alien Storm, and more. Now, I grew up with a Master System and a Mega Drive, and I absolutely loved the Mega Drive. It was my favourite console for years as a kid, and I played most of these games originally and since, and most of them are grade A amazing games. So if you're a big fan of retro games and 16-bit era, then you should take a look at this, especially if you never owned a Mega Drive or you never played a lot of the games from it. This is a really good bundle with so many really good games, and they cover a lot of genres as well. I mean, the Story of Thor was one of my best RPGs I ever played on the Mega Drive. It's basically a Legend of Zelda game with magic and a really cool kung fu combat system, which is amazing. Seriously, I don't know why people don't talk about it more. It's peak RPG from this date and genre, and no one seems to mention it. It's right up there with Zelda, I promise. And Ristar as well. Most people don't talk about that, but it was made by the people that made the Sonic games. It's a really good 2D platformer with unique combat mechanics and a pretty good art style and music and everything. That's all you need to know. There's so many good games in this. I mean, Streets of Rage is in it. They're my favourite beat-em-up series of all time. And Golden Axe, they're right up there as well. There's just so many good games. It really is. Even Columns, which is a Tetris rip-off, but slightly different, with awesome music. I mean, Comms. Oh, your theme tune is amazing. Anyway, if you're into retro games, then pick this up. You get so many games for the price, and there's so many amazing legendary games in this, that you'll have a ton of fun. As long as you're into retro games, I can't recommend it highly enough. definitely check it out if you like any of what I've said. And hey, if you've never played old retro games before, then definitely check this out. Where else can you get over 50 games for this price? It's a legendary amount of games at a legendary price. Why not take a look? I bet you'll have fun with at least half of these games. We have a unique game next, Severed Steel. It was released in 2022, so it's 2 years old, and is on at least a 75% discount for the price of £4.99 or £3.99 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it. Now keep in mind that the PS4 and PS5 versions are separate, and they're both on sale for the same price, but there's no upgrade. So if you want the PS5 one, make sure you pick that one up, because you can upgrade to it, and you're stuck with whichever version you buy. Like I said, they're the same price, just make sure you pick up the right one, and you can buy both on the PSN website. So if you don't have a PS5 yet, but you want it, you can pick it up there instead. In this FPS, you get to play as a one-armed sharpshooter, attacking a superstructure full of bad guys, utilizing a unique combat system, destructible environments, with no gun reloading, but you get to dodge, use slow-mo, wall run, slide, and more, and it features leaderboards and some cool gameplay modes as well. Now this game is a pretty odd one. It's a first-person shooter, but it's very different. It's based more around cool gunplay and scoring and leaderboards. Your aim is to move through the levels, killing people as coolly and efficiently as possible, running up the walls, jumping, flipping, doing all sorts of cool moves in the destructible environment as well. You know, you can shoot through the walls, all sorts of things you can destroy in it. And the AI is dynamic as well, so they're supposed to do different things each run, and it's supposed to be very varied, so it's different every time. And it's more about how good you are, rather than just memorizing where the bad guys are at what time, which seems really cool. In my head, it's kind of like a roguelike action shooter with scores and leaderboards, which I'm sure is just blowing the mind of some people. I bet that's a dream come true to some of you guys that love leaderboards and playing missions to get better and better again. Either way, this has got massively good reviews. It's very different and unique, so if you like the sound of it, if you like action games, or super hot, it's sort of similar to that I guess, then I bet you'd have a lot of fun with this game. So if you're as intrigued as I am, why not check it out? It's very different and unique, and well worth your time. And hey, if you've never played an FPS before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here, because it's a very different and unique game, and it's probably not for everyone. But hey, if you really like the sound of it, there's not a lot of competition for this sort of game, and I think it looks really cool. So if it has piqued your interest, then definitely check it out. I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. Up next is my star by Shadowrun Trilogy, PS4 and PS5. It was released in 2022, so it was 2 years old, but the original games are older than that really, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £6.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a fantastic deal for 3 full games, as this trilogy includes the 3 remastered games, Shadowrun Returns, Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut, and Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition. So you're getting 3 legendary games, and the best versions of them as well, with all of the content included, remastered and updated, which is really cool. In these strategy RPGs, you get to play as a Shadowrunner in a unique steampunk world where magic has returned, along with magical creatures and monsters, so now you must navigate a world in conflict as technology fights magic and monsters across 3 full games of story. Now I've never played any of these games, but I know the name Shadowrun. Why? Because it's legendary. And it's legendary for a reason. These games are really well made, and they're really good. If you're into strategy or RPG, then you should definitely take a look at this. The combination is really cool, and there's a massive amount of content in these 3 full games, especially at this price. And the world's really unique and different as well. Steampunk's pretty popular, but mixing it in with magic and having to deal with it. I mean, the second game's based around an entire army trying to take down a dragon in Germany. Like, that's as cool as it sounds. Do I really need to say much more? Anyway, if you're into turn-based strategy, definitely check this out. You don't get a lot of strategy games like this these days, and these ones look really cool, with really great story, really great world, and really cool RPG elements as well. These are legendary games, like I said, for a reason. They're my star buy. They're well worth your time and money, I promise. So if you like any of what I've said, definitely take a look at them. You're getting a lot for your money, and they're legendary game quality as well. And hey, if you've never played a strategy RPG before, then you could start here. You're getting a lot for your money, but you are getting a lot of content. So if you don't like them, you're stuck with a lot of games you're never going to play. But hey, at least they're pretty cheap. So you have a decision to make. If you really want to try this out, this is a really good deal. But if not, you can get other ones cheaper because you can buy them individually. So is up to you really. You can start somewhere else if you want, but if you're really interested, this is a great deal with some really cool games. Either way, you can't go far wrong really, so why not take a look? And the final game I have for you is Surviving the Aftermath Ultimate Colony Edition. It was released in 2021, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the low price of £8.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and an amazing deal, as this edition includes the expansion pass of 3 full expansions: the radioactive radio station, unique quest line, colony flags, specialist, and 2 buildings as well, so you're getting the best version of the game with a ton of extra content included, which is really cool. This RTS is set in a post-apocalyptic future where you must build and manage a colony of survivors with scarce resources. You must build a disaster-proof colony, protect your survivors, and rebuild civilization in a devastated world. It features over 130 buildings, 80 specialist survivors, wasteland exploration, and a procedurally generated world as well, which means it's different every time and it will keep it fresh for multiple playthroughs, which is really cool. Now these days they don't make a lot of RTS games, but this game's got rave reviews, and it's got a really cool idea as well. Being in a post-apocalyptic scenario is pretty cool. I find it very interesting and intriguing. So if you're a fan of old school RTS games like I am, and you like the theme of this as much as I do, then you should definitely take a look. I think you'll have a lot of fun with this if you like RTS, and you like the idea of the theme in. I bet you can have a lot of fun with this game. I'm even tempted myself. And hey, if you've never played an RTS before, then you could start here. It looks like a really good one at a pretty good price, and it's pretty modern as well. You don't get a lot of modern ones, so it's nice to see a good quality one at a good price. So if you like the sound of it as much as I do, definitely check it out. This may be your new favourite genre to play. And that's all the games I have for the essential picks and games under £15 PSN sales. What did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the star buy? Did it deserve it? Or should some other game have got it instead? Leave all your comments below and we can talk about it later. Anyway, I hope you guys found some really cool games to play, but more importantly I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Oil Vow.